r/AskReddit, what are your thoughts on removing "In God We Trust" from American money? I would support removing it, but that is honestly the least of our concerns right now. It was an anti-communist thing from the 50s. At a time like this, e pluribus unum seems more relevant and needed. I'd be more interested in elected officials doing their jobs. Yeah, let's replace it with "Better spend me now, I'll be worth 9% less in a year." This is Reddit, it's pretty obvious the answer you're gonna get. It shouldn't be there in the first place. Replace it with Wu-Tang Forever. I'd prefer they remove the God from political policies first. Separation of church and state are a thing for a reason. Edit. I have never received this many upvotes or an award or anything like this, so thank you all, and I'm really trying to answer the replies. I just wasn't expecting this to blow up. Edit 2. I am now at 1K karma, I'm going to go eat a celebratory granola bar. It's not a hill I'd be willing to die on to remove it. I'd rather have codified abortion, or term limits for SCOTUS, or pretty much anything else. Weighing in as conservative Christian, we shouldn't demand that be on the money. I know plenty of people who would get up in arms about the removal of the phrase, but by the same token they would be upset if it read "In Allah we trust" or "In Brahman we trust." These same folks will argue about having their rights taken away, when the First Amendment to the Constitution explicitly states that the government has no authority to tell you who/what you should have religious faith in. I would be more than willing to bet if asked should the government promote Christianity, they would say, well, of course. But if you asked them if we should repeal the First Amendment, they would say, well, of course not. Christians are to submit to the governing authority. That means stop shitting on Biden, obey the law, and if you don't like it, go through due process, voting and making your voice heard to your government via legal activities. Nowhere does the Bible say that we should attempt to become the governing authority and subjugate people under us. The only time we are excused from following the law is when it goes against biblical doctrine. For instance, if a law were put into place to force everyone to acknowledge a government official, let's say Biden, as divine. Edit. And to clarify that last comment, our faith would excuse us from following that imaginary law, but not from the legal consequences of disobeying the law. Who cares? I'd prefer to have e pluribus unum back. Religion is just an adult version of Santa Claus. I do not care at all. Wasn't it only added during the Cold War? It's completely unnecessary and not tradition for us at all. Wasn't there before 1955, just remove it. Didn't Christ preach against greed? So many issues in this country and MFS worrying about that. Although I am a devoutly religious person, I believe that it makes no sense to have it on the money in a secular society. The Constitution makes it clear that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The same thing that protects everyone's rights from my faith, is what protects my faith from everyone else. It's necessary to separate religion and law in the American society, as that is constitutionally required. By the way, it's the First Amendment, not the 48th obscure amendment. Separating church and state is about as American as it gets. There's much bigger problems right now. Jesus said to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. He didn't care about money, and neither does God. And if God is being offended or erased by removing the phrase from money, then he's not a very strong God to begin with. Hey guys, if money that says "In God We Trust" really bothers you, feel free to send it to me. I'll make sure you never see it again. In nothing and no one we trust would be more apt. You're asking a forum of godless, socially autistic incels, what answer are you expecting? Religion is always stored in a single book, most of the time. Don't need it anywhere else, to be honest. What irks me even more? The Pledge of Allegiance. Take out under God. I mean, people came to America for religious freedom. God could be goddess, I suppose. When I tell colleagues that under God was never part of the original, they refuse to believe me, even after I Google it. Christian fanatics. Yes, take it off the bills. And replace it with a Carl Sagan quote or something. I think a movement to do that would be more unifying to the religious zealots who throw a fit when Starbucks starts their Christmas cups late than it would be for the left. So, just creating a sensational wedge issue only one side really cares about would do more harm than good. That said, it's ridiculous it's there, and it's only been there since 1957. I don't care one way or another. Just words. Nothing to get my panties in a bunch. I just want to have more of it, really. Go for it. It shouldn't have been there in the first place. As a Brit, I think you're all far too concerned with petty things and not enough with the real issues in the country. Republicans would get all butthurt about it. I think it'd be fun to hear their rationale for keeping it. Wouldn't affect me in the slightest. I don't actually care. Keep it. Remove it. Why does it matter? I'm Christian, but I've never opened up my wallet at a supermarket, pulled out a bill, and had a religious experience. Like. Fuck, what? Did you think I'd find spiritual guidance from a dollar bill? I think that Christians are going to be religious no matter what, and no one really thinks about what's written on a bill. I'd bet most people didn't even know that was there. And if you need to be reminded to know it was there, then you clearly don't care that much. Separation of church and state. He shouldn't be on the money anyway. Go for it. Long overdue. Don't we have bigger things in this country to worry about? I'm an atheist, and I don't care at all. Much more important things to worry about. I think it's a massive waste of time and money, and for what? Should we remove it? Yes. Is removing it worth the massive political headache and distraction it will create? No. Abortion rights are under siege, guns are ravaging our country, inflation and cost of living are out of control, insane college costs are driving a generation of Americans into bankruptcy-level student loan debt, Russia is trying to reunite the Soviet Union, and violent crime is rising. We have way bigger priorities than removing an objectionable phase from our currency. This will become another lightning rod for the woke PC cancel culture censorship narrative that conservatives perpetually push, and they will undoubtedly fight tooth and nail to keep this phrase. It will burn a ton of time, energy, and political capital to get this changed. And when it's all said and done, literally no tangible benefit will be achieved. That phrase on the currency really doesn't do any material harm, and removing it won't have any material benefit. Once we fix bigger problems, or once it isn't so politically taxing to change, we can come back to this. Probably not worth it to go back and scrub those words off all those coins. ETA, I wondered if this comment really required a/s. Guess it did. Thanks for playing. Get rid of it, no matter what your religion is. Keep church and state separate, even with money. About time, the correct phrase is e pluribus unum. Culture war bullshit designed to divide. Who cares? It's not going to happen. There are 10,000 other things more important. Honestly, it can stay or it can leave. Quite frankly, I think people just need to leave stuff alone for a while and calm the hell down. There's too much chaos. E pluribus unum is all it should say. We don't all have to believe in God. And that definitely was never core to our founding. Out of many, one defines us universally. It wouldn't really bother me, but I see nothing productive in removing it. The US is still largely Christian and I'm sure a significant number would raise a fuss. The god they mean is Mammon, so it seems fitting. Yes. Get God as far from the federal government as possible. Many of us don't believe in it. I'm a fairly religious person, and I support the removal of the phrase from the currency. Blending church and state has caused way more problems than it has ever unified anyone. Considering the Republicans are trying to push us into being a Christian nationalistic country, I think it's necessary. I am an American, am not a Christian. I don't think religion belongs on our currency, or in our schools and government. After we fix a lot of other shit? Like a final nail in the coffin of the true separation of church and state? Yes, absolutely. In favor of removing. Shit, even if I were religious I'd assume that God wouldn't enjoy his name associated with near unchecked capitalism. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.